better be worth it. Come on in here, buddy. So I'm in the process of unpacking and reorganizing stuff in the garage, so excuse the mess, but I wanted to show you how I've got my Bonafide rigged. Okay, this is the Bonafide 127. That's the one I'm using. But I want to show you from front to back, pretty much my setup. Micro power pole, obviously a must. I'm not going to go over all the cool Bonafide features because there's too many. It's just awesome. But here's the anchor wizard. You got to set this distance from your hull. So I haven't drilled all the screws yet. I'm waiting on an anchor from Fishing Online. That's what I'm using right now. But as soon as I figure out which anchor I'm going to use, you got to figure out how far away from the boat you want this, because you don't want your anchor hitting the bottom. But for the most part, it's ready to go. I put tracking system, I forget what it's called, inside the foam. So I had to cut out the foam and put that in there to install this crank right by my seat, so it's handy. And with this I can just literally unsnap the anchor from the carabiner, put it right there. I've already tested it, and just run the rope straight up there to the tip. And I might put another one of these chutes, whatever they're called, for the anchor up there in the front, but you don't really have to. So I can move that back and forth. So in the back, you probably want it most of the time for deeper than 8 feet because the power pole won't reach. But in current, I'm going to want the power pole back there, and then I'm going to want the anchor up here. Pretty cool. Back to the back, moving forward. This Yak Attack Box. I've got 6 rod holders. I got the one over there on the side, and another one over here. So I can have 8 rods in the holders, plus the one I'm fishing with, 9 rods if I want to. Camera mount for the GoPro. I like it real high. And then the flag for tournaments, and also it's got a light on it and stuff like that, which I use for safety reasons, just pretty much non-stop. Not sure where I'm gonna put my net yet, but I'm thinking it's gonna be right there. It'll probably end up in another spot, but this is just a light net. This is what I would use in tournaments. I'm getting ready to fish my first kayak tournament in a week. So this has no draw in the water, and it's a really light net. I love this one. This is from Yak Attack. Boy, look at this thing, how perfect it is for one hand. Come on, get in this boat. Yeah, look at that. But in tournaments, it's too slow. There's too much drag in the water with these rubber nets. And I'm just not going to use it in tournaments. For conservation or for filming and taking pictures and stuff like that, putting the fish in. It's awesome. So for tournaments, I'm using the lighter one. Again, not going over the features in the Bonafide in this video, but this is the high position. I've got a ram mount here for different things that I need. You know, this is just real handy. I just stuck it there. Under the seats in the high position, I think I already said that. I got another power pole switch right here. This drawer, if it's on this slider on the track system, I'm going to try to keep all my tackle simple. I'm going to put what I need for this tournament in these 2 boxes. Anything I want to keep dry is in this cool Plano watertight box. Nothing really to show you in there. You know, I got my whistle and some stuff like that. You know, anything I want to keep dry. Phone could go in there. Spare battery for the power poles. I've got a Hydrowave Mini, which is an ice fishing, designed for ice fishing. But what I'm liking about this new kayak world that I'm in now is there's just so many ways to explore and do new things. And one thing that I've definitely noticed is the ice fishing gadgets are now not seasonal, because they cross right over into this kayak world, and I'm excited about that. And it just kind of dawned on me one day, so I started going through my ice stuff. This is a Bluetooth speaker that you can get from Ranger that I just love, and I just can keep my phone locked away, you know, and text from it, call from it, accept calls from it, ask Google questions, whatever you want to do, and it's right there, loud and clear. Phone can be put away in dry storage. For the, let's see, moving forward, I think I covered everything back there. Of course, this box, if I get carried away, which I a lot of times do, and I need to put more tackle, that fits a lot of big planos in there, or whatever you want to do in there. It's just a huge amount of storage, but I plan on not using that for anything but maybe rain gear and lunch. The paddle, I've messed around with a lot of different ways to do this, but again, I'm getting ready for a tournament, so I'm trying to get, basically get in the habit of getting rid of this paddle in a hurry. Slide it in there, and then bam, into place. Out of the way, and I think it's going to be good for tournament. I've tried a million different things, and I've already lost my paddle twice when I hooked a fish. I don't know the depth. Oh my gosh, I got one. Oh my gosh, my tackle box went in the water. Tackle box in the water. It's floating. Cameras are flying everywhere. I got a fish. My tackle box is floating back there. Oh my gosh, my paddle's floating back there. I can't go anywhere without that. Okay, I wrapped my line around my paddle. Oh man, now I'm gonna lose my fish. Dude, oh my gosh, I almost flipped it. Second level of stability. Now my line is wrapped around my paddle, and I guarantee you I lost that fish. So I'm hoping that works for me. Cup holder, another Yak Attack track accessory. I've got, some spare cable that I'm using, that I'm wrapping around this cleat right here, so it keeps everything nice and neat. You don't have wires all over the place. Not going over all the stuff for the pod, but if you're familiar with Bonafide, you know what this is, and it's a really cool deal. I'm using ice fishing units. This is a hook too. It's a very inexpensive and super light thing. I've mounted it directly to the pod. By squeezing these levers, I can change the angle of it and take it off in a second, and it weighs nothing compared to like an HDS 9, which I had in this boat. So I've used this a couple days and I love it, just for GPS and a sonar. Just like in the bass boat, I'll show you what's inside the pod. This just hides the wires, and I got a lithium battery in there, a little light battery. And then under the pod is where I've mounted my transducer for just the Lowrance. So I've got it low profile. I epoxied it right to it. I'm not using a bracket yet. I've tried it. I like it. It works. Didn't know if it would because it's up inside the hull. It's protected from the rock, so I never have to worry about it. And it works. Another crossover from ice fishing is my Markham. So this is a lithium ion, and instead of just putting a ram mount in here and mounting a regular unit on here, I want to use the ice fishing unit because it gives me, first of all, the hugest battery. The life is unbelievable. I used this for 3 straight days and it's never even killed it. But this has a display on it. It tells me where my battery is charged. I've got a super bright LED that lights up, my world back here, so I can see what's going on. And I've got a USB port, so I can plug my phones into here. Anything you need to charge, bam, right there. So that's why I want to get this lithium shuttle in my boat. Very cool. And how I've done that, and this is kind of the fun part about kayaks, is just being able to accessorize and just go, it's just never ending. It's primitive right now, but I put a block right there. There's just no way to mount it. Somebody might figure out a better way eventually, but for now, I've put a block right there of wood, cut it out so that it fits this, and then I just slide it on, and it sits there real nice and tight. In case I were to flip over for some unknown reason, I've got a safety cable right here. It goes, just knotted it on the other side. It goes right up into my deal here. And I just attach it to that cable, so if I do flip over, I'm not going to lose, $600 worth of gear. Another camera mount. This part floats just to give you a different angle. I use ions for a lot of things. This I can take off really quick just by unscrewing it right off the ram mount, the ram ball. And I can use that for underwater too, and I don't have to worry about dropping it in the water. It's got a floating handle on it. Got another mount here for another GoPro. and I'm using the Hero 6, I just use the voice command. So GoPro start recording, GoPro stop recording. GoPro stop recording. And it's the coolest feature ever. This is cool. This is my puck for the Markham. So I've got the Lowrance directly under my feet. Then I've got the Markham up here. And this is from trial and error. I'm using a 610 medium light Muse Black 13 fishing rod. So when I'm drop shotting, I want to see what's going on 6 foot 10 inches from my hands, which is up here. So I'm literally hanging this in the water and didn't know how it was going to work, but it's great. And when I need to get this out of the way, like when I'm beaching the boat, you don't want to forget about it like I did once and scratch it all to heck. Okay, listen to the sound. There we go. So I got a plastic lid that my wife had laying around that perfectly fits. I screwed it, drilled holes, more holes into my Bonafide, and it's just a place to securely put that. So when I'm transporting it in the back of the truck, not going a real long distance or whatever, or I don't need it in the water, I just put it right there and it's done. So for now, that's what I'm doing. And there are really cool gadgets. I've got one, you know, that you can mount on the track to get the transducer secure, but I tried it this way and I like it because when you get a fish and he's on that side of the boat and you want to reach around and draw him over to this side or whatever, you can fight the fish around here and you don't have to worry about tangling into a bunch of stuff, which is why I didn't put a ton of gadgets. You know, I've got this one, it's really low profile. You can secure your phone or something you don't want to lose with that. I didn't put anything on it yet, but I don't have a lot of gadgets on the tracks up here just because I don't want to get tangled. I've tried to put, you know, a radio and stuff like that in the back. Oh, yesterday made this. So this is for my hog trough, and again, it's just a work in progress, trying to figure out a way to do this. I had to drill a hole. I had to actually cut this with a jigsaw, so there's a big hole in the Bonafide, but I got a Ranger boat that I drill holes in, so I'm not quite as scared to do it. I'm kind of used to it. I'm gonna have trouble getting these angles. What do you think?
I think you're crazy.
Anyway, made a slot just for this. Just cut out some black plastic just to put a finished piece on there, and put some, for now, just the soft part of some Velcro in there so it covers the hole when you pull this out and water doesn't just gush in there. Neoprene might work better. There's all kinds of ideas that I have, but that's the first thing I've tried so far and I like it. Slides right in there. Real nice and tight, and I can still, doesn't get in the way of this track. You can still use that track if you want to. On the inside, like I don't use this storage for much. So these are nice reversible latches. I can open this latch from either side. Bonafide's cool. My 30-inch board, in case I catch a humongous smallmouth, I've got it attached to here so it doesn't slide way up underneath there. And this is the one that's inside that mount that I made. So it takes up some room in here. You don't want to lay nothing heavy on top of that because it'll probably break it. But for like a duffel bag or rain gear or extra hats, whatever you want to do. And you can fit your rods in here underneath it on the side. There's plenty of room still. I've had as many as 15 rods in the storage, even up to 8 footers. So, and I could fit more, so it's a pretty cool deal. Here's where I put my power pole spike. Stays nice and tight right there. And I think I've covered everything. So if you have any questions, let me know. This is my boat, getting it ready for my first kayak tournament.